Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's another opportunity for us to learn about stock options today. And so we're going to start episode 3 today. We're going to be talking about cash secured puts. That is, we're going to be getting paid to buy stocks that we already own. But we got to back up and talk about what's the foundation. Everything that we do, everything that we're learning here, we got to make sure that it's all built on a firm foundation. And that foundation starts with the fact that it all belongs to God, baby. He's the owner. The earth is the Lord, the fullness thereof, the world and all that is within it. It belongs to him, baby. And the only thing that we have is a stewardship. We are managers of somebody else's good. That's it. That's what we do. And in being a steward, we're one day going to be held accountable for that, right? And so our stewardship one day is going to be looked at, and God's going to want to know, what did you do with all that talent, with all that money, with that family, with everything that all those gifts that I gave you? What did you do with it? Accountability, baby. And if you do it right, at the end of the day, there's going to be a reward, baby. Enter thee into the joy of the Lord. That's what you want to hear him say on that day. Well done, thy good and faithful servant. So let's do a quick recap of where we've been. Episode 1, we talked about what are stock options. I basically went through and gave a definition, the difference between calls and put, the strike price, the premium, the expiration. Those were all the building blocks on stock options. And so if you haven't seen that, you need to go back and look at that. Make sure you understand the basics. And then last week, we had in episode 2, I introduced you to the wheel strategy. That is, that you're selling puts. And if you get a sign, you're selling covered calls, and you continue to repeat that cycle. It's called the wheel, baby. And you just keep it turning, right? And so today, we're going to talk about the entry point. That is the cash secured puts. We're selling cash secured puts on stocks that we really want to own anyway, right? So what is a cash secured put? Well, you're selling a put option on a stock that you would be happy to own, okay? And you're getting paid a premium up front for that option. And at the same time, you have to set aside the certain amount of cash for that put, okay? And we're going to talk about what that amount is that you're going to have to set aside. So you collect the premium. Someone pays you for the product for the contract up front. The money is yours. It's deposited in your account. You get to keep it no matter what happens. The cash secured part of it means that you got to set aside enough money in your account to be able to buy 100 shares at the strike price that you have determined. So all options are sold in 100 share lots, okay? So you got to buy 100 shares minimum for every stock option. But you get to pick your terms. You get to choose the strike price. You get to choose the expiration date. You are in control of the deal. That's what makes this deal so sweet. So how does it work? Tell us how it works, Mr. Ray, step by step. First of all, you determine what stock that you want to buy the option on. So it's got to be a quality stock that you wouldn't mind owning anyway, right? Like Nvidia, Meta, Apple, Amazon, any of those stocks. These are billion-dollar companies, and you wouldn't mind owning them. Okay. First, the second thing you do is choose your strike price. What is the price that you're willing to own at? You want to buy it at a discount, so you're always going to set the strike price below whatever the current stock price is, right? The strike price is always going to be lower than the stock price is currently trading. And then you're going to turn around and sell that put and collect the premium. You get paid immediately. The moment that you enter that contract, that premium is deposited in your account no matter what. But remember, I said you also have to have a certain amount of money set aside. You got to have at least 100 shares of that stock. Whatever you set that strike price at, you got to multiply that times 100, and that's what you got to have in the bank. Okay. And then number 4, you just simply waiting for it to expire. Your goal is you want that stock to stay above or at your strike price. If it goes below, then you're going to get a sign. But if it stays above, then it's going to expire worthless, and you're going to be able to keep that premium, and you're going to be able to start over all over again. So let's look at this example right here. Let's say that Apple was currently trading at $50 a share, and the premium that was being offered on the contract was $1.50. Now that's going to be a total of 150, because remember, we got to buy 100 shares. So 100 shares times $1.50 is, you're going to get $150 total for your premium. Now we're going to set the expiration date 30 days out. That's normally what we're going to do when we are selling puts. We're not looking to buy short-term puts. We're looking to buy 30 to 45 day puts. And so you're going to set your strike price below the current price at $45. That's $5 difference, right? And so the cash that's going to be required for this particular option is the $45 times 100, which means you got to have $4,500 in your account to do this deal. Okay? And so what just happened? You bought a contract for $45, a strike price at $45 on a stock that's currently trading at 50, and you need to make sure that that stock stays above 50, right? But if it goes down to 45, you're okay with it. You're willing to own that at 45 because you like the stock. But in addition to that, you got paid $150 just for writing that contract. So even if you get assigned the stock, you're getting it at a 10% discount, right? That's sweet, baby. So let's talk about what could happen in three different scenarios. The first scenario is, the best case scenario is that the stock stays above $45. Okay, that means that it's going to expire worthless. You get to keep the $150. You still have your $4,500 cash, and you get a return of 3.3% in 30 days. Basically, free money, baby. You just won the lottery. Now, the probable case is, let's say the stock drops 45 or below, okay, where you're going to get assigned 100 shares of this stock at $45. Now you get to keep the premium, but now the real cost is the $45 less the $150 premium that you just received. So your real actual cost is $43.50 is what you're getting that stock for. So you're getting the stock at 13% below the $50 price. And that's a great entry price for a stock that you want to own anyway, right? Now, let's talk about the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is if that stock drops below 45 and goes to 35. Now, you're going to get assigned 100 shares at $45. And that $4,500 is going to come out of your account. Now, the stock is only worth 35, so there's a $10 difference there. You have an unrealized loss of the difference between the 45 and the 35. But in this case, it's not the full 1,000 because you got paid $150. So your actual paper loss, unrealized, is $850 while you're holding that stock. So that's the risk here, is that you will get assigned if it goes below your strike price. So why is it important to choose the right strike price and expiration? Let's talk about this. The strike price is the price that you really want to own that stock at, right? It's usually 15 or 10% below whatever the current price is. We call that the out of the money price because it is below the current stock price. You want to be lower, but when you go lower, the less premium, but you get more protection because the lower you go, the less likely that the stock is going to drop below that. The higher the strike price, you're going to get more premium, but it's more risk. And that means that you're more likely that that stock is going to get assigned to you. So the expiration date, and we're always going to be selling puts 30 to 45 days. That's our sweet spot. We don't want to get out there 60, 90 days. We don't want to go 5 to 7 days. We like the 30, 45 days because in that 30 days, you're getting that time decay. And we're going to talk about that in future. But we always want to go for the 30 to 45 day expiration date. The shorter time frames, you're going to get less premium, but it's going to cycle faster. Okay, if you do 7 days, 7 day expiration, anything can happen quickly in that 7 days. The longer, you're going to get more premium. That's what we're going for. We want more premium, but there's more uncertainty because a lot can happen over 30, 45 days, right? But we're always going to be looking for our sweet spot of 30 to 45 days. So let's calculate our return. So we had premium that we collected in our example of $150, right? We had to put aside $4,500. So 150 divided by that $4,500 is 3.3%. Now you say, Mr. Ray, that ain't a lot of money, man. 3.3%. But remember now, you earned that in 30 days and you didn't really pay any money. You got paid $150, right? Just for having that $4,500 sitting in your account. Think about that. That 3.3%, if you did that every month for 12 months, that's 40% a year, baby. Tell me anything that you can do that you can earn 40% on. Come on, somebody. There's nothing out there like that, baby. This is the sweetest thing that I found since real estate. And y'all know I love real estate. And I always say over there, don't fall in love with them houses. Fall in love with them numbers. I'm saying right here, don't fall in love with them stocks. Fall in love with them numbers, baby. You want to earn that 3.3% on a. So let's talk about the risks. Let's be real, baby. There are some risks in this. There's nothing. You can't make money nowadays without taking some risk. So the biggest risk is that the stock will drop significantly below your strike price. Okay, but we got a way to manage that risk, right? So the way that we manage that risk is we only sell stocks that we generally want to own, right? We're only going to buy the top stocks, the Nvidias, the Apple, the Amazons, all those stocks that we know that are great companies, right? And we're always going to set our strike price conservatively. That is always 5 to 15% below whatever the stock is trading at. Always be conservative. And we're not going to put all our cash in one stock, baby. We always going to diversify. If we got $100,000, we're not putting it all in one stock, baby. We're spreading that over 4 or 5 different stocks. And remember, you may get a sign at the end of the day, but that's not bad because that's the next step in the wheel strategy, baby. If you get a sign,